where you're from? Do we want to go where you're from and stuff like that?
Yeah, we can start at the beginning.
Yeah.
You can put that in there.
We should.
So,
I've been moving around and grooving and working and hustling. Been in a lot of scenes from nightlife to corporate world, and pretty much just staying afloat right now in 2025.
How old are you?
I am 40 years old.
Kids?
Come on, none.
No kids. Married or
Yes.
single? Married.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. What was your upbringing like in Florida?
Well, party scene. I was just talking about this the other day. You grow up going from South Beach to First Period. It's
Damn.
just it used to be one of them type of lifestyles that we just grew up. As you come up in the city, because it's a fast living. And that's anywhere in Florida, from Tampa, Orlando, Daytona, Jacksonville. Florida as a whole is a whole different,
Okay.
species.
When you were going through K through 12, did you have an idea of what you were going to be doing after high school, like fresh out, like the first day after high school? You knew what you was going to be doing.
Um, it was college for sure. I was already going for communication and psychology. That was one of my things I was into. But I ended up just switching, doing mainstream communication, and got into the work field. And I was making more money than some of the people that was teaching me. So I ended up
Did you go to school for communications?
yeah, I
Okay.
did.
Did you finish?
No, I didn't. No,
You didn't finish. Did you get your AA at all, or didn't
I
get that
didn't.
in?
I didn't even finish that.
Okay.
So
I did
yeah,
the same thing.
yeah, same thing. You just get through that process, and you're like, all right, you know what?
Yeah. Get through the intake process. Get up out of there.
I'm making more money over here, and
Okay.
in
Where
Georgia.
where was over here? Where were you making more money? At?
I was introduced at the airline industry. I was making good money there. And,
What were you doing over there?
I was
Like a
doing,
pilot?
No, I definitely wish I was a pilot at 19 years old, getting out of high school. No, I was
Could have been.
dealing more so with the customer service and baggage,
Okay.
and making good money. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying?
Okay.
Of course, 19, coming from some, you didn't think you even get a job like that.
Yeah, I know. What were you doing at 19
I was a freshman.
in college?
Yeah.
Were you working too, or no?
Yeah, man.
You
I
was
had
a
a lot of
full-time
different.
student?
I had a lot of jobs. Yeah, I
Were
was
you a
full-time
full-time
student.
student?
I was a full-time student. I worked at the bookstore. I was a bouncer. I worked at Home Depot. I sold drinks out my room.
Yeah, I think at 19 I was parking cars at Maroney Dodge. Yeah. So
So let me. I wanna get back to your upbringing a little
Yeah.
bit.
Right.
So,
we're gonna bounce around here and there.
well, I'm gonna try try to keep it.
Yeah.
So, your upbringing, were you nuclear family?
So family-wise, dad wasn't there. Mom was present. Grandparents always there. Uncles, the older, cousins and stuff like that in play. So that's just kind of how the family structure was. But no main, real strong figure when it comes to, as far as, for a male person that you need to come through with the neighborhood I come from. You know what I mean? So, it was a good upcoming, but, I made it through.
Did you have?
Okay. When you say that your dad wasn't there, where was he?
He just wasn't in the picture. So he just wasn't with moms. And, of course, I probably had 2 or 3 conversations with him.
Was he ever with your mother in a relationship of some sort, like a marriage or?
Far as I know, they was in a relationship, but of course, it's like you don't know what he say, she say, in their times, and
They wasn't legally
right,
married though.
right, legally married. No,
Okay, gotcha.
yeah,
They were clearly they were doing something, right? But they wasn't
right,
legally
right,
married. Okay, cool. And you said you've only had a handful of conversations with this gentleman.
right. Just a few.
Why do you think?
Uh, Probably because I just, for one, the age I did have close communication, we probably sat down and said hello, woo, 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 and he going his way, I going my way, and I never looked back. I never really reached back out. It
Did
wasn't no,
your did
mm,
your because this happens with
yeah,
happened with me when I was growing up as well. Like my mom always like encouraged me about my dad whenever I was kind of discouraged
right.
about either maybe the time he wouldn't spend or where he at or something like that. Did your mother ever? Because you were raised by your mother or your grandmother or
Yeah,
who?
I had grandparents involved,
Okay, they were
uncle.
all in just like one household type of
Yeah,
thing,
yeah,
like a
just one
family
household,
affair.
whole family in one household.
So so you had a father figure like in your uncle
My
or
granddaddy,
your
uncles,
granddad?
yeah, I had. I mean,
Okay,
I had. It was men around, but as far as like, hey, you should,
right.
do
Okay.
this, do that type. It was just, how the old school way of
Yeah.
just be a man.
Do you feel like the situation around your father still impacts you as an adult?
Hold on.
Go ahead.
I still want to before we jump all the way.
Yeah, go ahead.
We're still following the same questionnaire of finding out who the person was first before we
Okay.
go to if it
Yeah,
affects. Since we're already peeled
Okay.
back all the
Okay.
way to the childhood, we might as
Okay.
well
Yeah.
stay here for a little bit.
right.
As far as the encourage, did your mother encourage you to see your dad
Yeah,
or
she did. So, she encouraged me to see my old boy. I at a certain age was like, okay, he's not coming around. He's not making effort. It's a resentment of, hey, I'm good. It's like he's not reaching out to me. So that was probably one of those things where I just never pursued after the younger times that I was around him. The one, two, three last time I saw him. You feel what I'm saying? From there, you kind of just go from, all right, if I reach out, I'll reach out. What's going to be the response? It's just one of them things where you just kind of let it be where it's at. I don't know, and also with the background of it, it was he was in a place where he was traveling a lot and wouldn't sit down and even try to answer any questions I may have had, or why you wasn't around, or this, and that. So it's just one of those things where you just kind of like, oh, let me just let it be, you know.
where's he at now?
Right now in either New York or Georgia,
Okay.
not too sure at this very moment.
Okay. So even as a adult, you still haven't tried to, I guess, reach out or
No,
maybe accept him. I don't know if he's tried to reach out as well, but
no type of communication. Nah, not whatsoever. I mean, I feel like if his presence was there, it may have been a different route.
okay. For the better
Yeah,
or for the worse?
for a little bit more better.
Okay.
I think I feel like greatness is always what you want. So I think a greater person I would have been
Okay.
than I am today. You know what I mean?
And
Yeah.
you spoke about that there was another father figure with the uncle.
Grandfather and
Or
uncle.
was it two
Yeah.
people?
Yeah.
Okay, two
I
people.
had, yeah, I
Okay.
had grandfather, which of course is military. So that was, that's
Hmm.
strict drill sergeant. You going
Okay.
right along with that. So um, you have that situation, and then my uncle, which is um, he was just a worker his whole life, but he was just there. If I need anything, he'd take me. I go places. He was there.
Let
You
me
know.
let me let me ask you a question. I guess when we sometimes say like look up to, right? Like was there anyone in your life that you wanted to be like? That you would, man, I'm gonna want to aspire to be like this person.
As far as
Not
sport,
not not
just
not as far as
man in general.
character. Not as far as
Okay,
character. Like this was a good
person,
man, a good
any.
woman. But as far as I want to walk in this person's footsteps and be this person as they
Well,
are today.
I mean, for one, in the childhood, MJ, you know,
No, 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 no. MJ wasn't in your life. Not that I
it
know of.
wasn't okay, just in life in general.
Yeah,
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 someone
yeah.
that you could touch.
Yeah, I think we all wanted to be like Mike, right? But
Right.
that was in your life.
No, I mean, not to say that I had that type of people that was around that was influential like that. You know, besides my cousins. You know, my older cousins, couple years older and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
What were they? Were they something? What did they do that made them?
Well, they were just more school. They was more into school than
Oh,
I was.
okay.
You know what I'm saying? Also sports too. You know what I mean? I was still into it, just not more organized. So that that was just one of those things where like that's that father missing piece too. That I always say that plays a factor. You could go this way, you can go that way.
Yeah.
So I
I
think yeah, I don't really have nobody that was really besides I could put my few my cousin and stuff like that, but nobody really I can't put a pinpoint on it. You know what I mean?
No, 100%. And the reason that I ask is because I think that is a big thing in our community, the blacks. We tend not to have anyone in our immediate family that we want to be exactly like, right? I'm talking about the money they have, the house, the cars, the stature, the gravitas that they might have in the community, and this is all legal stuff. You feel what I'm saying? This is someone who can be a scholar, someone who has worked hard to be a asset to himself and others, and people look up to him or her. So due to the fact of us not having that, we tend to kind of be just regular for a long time. You know what I mean? I don't think you necessarily have to have your biological father in your life. It would be nice, right? But it is good to have someone, like you said, like Michael Jordan. But a lot of us, instead of having the Michael Jordan in the house, he's on the TV screen. What you think about that?
Yeah, and that's pretty much what it was. You was looking. That was the person you wanted to be because you sat in front of the TV all the time. Like it's
Funny
crazy.
enough.
You think about it back then, just being young, as you sit right there in front of that TV, and that's what you do.
Okay.
Um, so that's it. I mean, that's a great question too to even ask. This later in life, or in regards to a person, that's influential. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? That you want to be like instantly at that young age. Um, but other than that, I would say, music is always, one of those parts that, play, people that you see that's what we grow up in that environment.
So after the jumping back over to your work history a little bit, after your job at the airport, right, working in baggage claim or something like that. So after the job at the airport, where'd you go next?
After there, I went into the call center atmosphere.
Okay.
Of course, just to eliminate the hard. It wouldn't say hard work and at the airport. It was just, it's always a time for change. And I think around that time, I was, around 9/11, right after that. So stuff got a little different. Money started switching up and all that other good stuff. So after that, you went into the call center atmosphere. You go into more of the corporate side, try to do stuff a little bit easier and making, the same amount of money, but, a little bit more money. But
So was that a
environment.
let's if you could just make, even if you want to make up a number, what were you making around the time at the baggage claim?
So baggage, it was
Base
more
pay. Base pay.
base pay. You're
Please.
probably looking at probably like $15 an hour at the
$15 an
airport.
hour. Okay.
Yeah,
I'm sure you worked the gang
yeah,
overtime, all that cool
right,
stuff. I get that.
right. The overtime you go in from there, right?
Absolutely. Yeah,
Hmm.
absolutely. For sure. So after you went from 15, you went to what call center was it? You don't have to say the
After
name,
that,
but was it like technical or was it
yeah, it
like
was just
product based?
it was sales. It was sales.
Sales. Okay.
Yeah, sales. Sales is more incentive when you go with making that switch. It was more money, so it
Okay.
was a chill environment. So
So
you go
at
from that.
the sales job, what was your hourly rate at the sales job?
So you go from 17 plus the commission.
Okay.
It-
So that was a pretty decent jump. You went from 15, and
right.
this is you at 19 years old, right?
This is that 20. This is about 21 now.
Okay, so about 21 years old, just so we can find, I'm terrible with timelines, so hopefully I edit this some way with some timeline or something. But so you're 19 and you leave baggage claim around 20, 21, 22.
21. Yeah, 21, 22 years old.
Okay, and then you go into the call center as a sales representative,
Right.
right?
Right.
You've now got a $2 raise, so we are moving up
Right.
in hourly wage. Now, question: I wanted to double back or circle back, should I say, at when you said the the phrase you wanted to go to a place to where it was easier. And I tend to hear that a lot, and I know we had spoke about that as well. What made you think that you were going to do easier work and make more money doing it?
Because the airport is more hustle, your body.
I mean, like more manual
It
labor.
was more manual, it really, it's a more
Okay.
intense,
Be-
day versus, of course, in the call center, selling and, it's an easier platform to work in. So that's why I say easier on that side. But I know where you're about to go with it.
Right. No, because I've definitely noticed that uh, what we would do is try to somehow not only move up in pay, but we also try to somehow move down in
Complexity.
right, of the actual job or
Toughness.
the toughness or the mental anguish or the like you said, the physical labor.
Which I think is a natural human thing. Like all humans are naturally given to the concept of efficiency, right? Like all humans naturally want to find out how to get the most out of the least, right? That's the concept of efficiency.
And that's exactly what we would do is we would consistently look for easier work, and somehow we were going to get paid more for it. We never learned. Let me ask you a question. From baggage claim to sales, what would you say you learned from one job to the other?
Um, Patience.
No, not something
Well, as far as
untangible, like
skill-wise,
something tangible that we can, feel.
no, nothing like that. I
Nothing.
mean,
So you
yeah,
pretty much somehow just bamboozled a job into hiring you and paying you $2 more, but you just admitted you did not know anything more from one job to the other, correct?
that's correct.
Proves the point. So you go from the baggage claim to sales. Sales, you're making a little bit more money. There's also a slight incentive as well. Did sales have overtime as well? To where you
Yes,
get an
overtime.
hourly push?
Overtime, you get the hourly push. They push you over $20. The hourly differential. You go from if you stand past 6 o'clock. You get an extra $2. Now you at 19 plus your commission. So now you're almost at almost $20 an hour, and getting the commission on top of it. And now it's a little piece of change now, and you're
Okay.
not working hard.
So how about this? How much did you think you was making? Because you see how I had stopped you at the overtime thing from the
Right,
baggage
right,
claim.
right.
Because people usually when it's like a low, similar to like waiters and waitresses, when it's like a lower base salary, they'll throw in their overtime bonus as well as their like accumulative hourly salary, right? And when it's just you going in to work over, which I completely get it because I'm sure I used to do it at some point in time. So yeah, moving forward from that job. So what exactly were you selling?
So I was selling actually DirecTV.
Really? Okay. Okay. So you're selling direct TV. You feel like you're kind of making like $20 an hour at this point, right? You were saying that's what you said.
Yep,
You kind of
$20 an hour.
feel like $20 an hour.
And how old are you at this point?
I'm 21, 22 years.
21. So what would you say $20 an hour? Is that
Pretty good.
okay? So we're getting some.
I mean, back when we were.
So we're
Yeah, I
getting
mean,
some.
you know, you got to think, you know, in that time, you know, rent was, you know, $600-700
Exactly. Yeah.
for one bedroom. I mean,
Yeah. $20 an hour is pretty good.
Yeah, that's pretty good. So did you and like I said, we'll jump back and forth. This will all make sense at some point. As far as your friendship, your friend circle, at this point, were you on par with all of your other friends as far as finances?
the friend side, most is in college. You know, of course, this is college time,
Yeah.
and some is in the work field. You know what I mean?
Well, for your friends who skipped college
Yeah.
like you, obviously.
I think I was a little bit ahead of them a little bit. You know,
Really?
as far as I mean, when I say, you know, you making what you making
$20.
Yeah, $20 an hour. You know that's better than minimum wage, which
At
is
that time, especially.
I mean, what's minimum wage? $5 and some change.
Yeah, back then.
All right.
You know what I mean? So you know you're doing a little bit good at 20. So I think I'm doing a little bit decent. You know, and I bring checks home,
Yeah.
show granddaddy, and be like, "Yo, to see the checks I'm making." You know,
And
it's
you're still living at home at this point.
I'm still living at home.
Are you saving a lot?
No.
Or are you balling out of control?
Don't want to say when you say balling. I mean, obviously you live in
Did
the
you
city.
spend all your money?
Yeah.
However you spent it.
What was your budgeting like
You're
in
balling,
your?
you're balling, you popping bottles at the tables, you know,
So you wasn't saving this money while
wasn't
living
saving,
with your
just
people.
spending, just really spending, just being everywhere. You know what I mean? That was just being young. You know what I mean? Have somewhere to stay. You know, you could spend a little bit of this, spend a little help out here and there in the house.
Let me
contribute.
let me ask you because I've felt this way as well. Did you feel like while spending, because you shouldn't be spending it when you're spending it, like right? Did you feel like you would eventually make it all back? Because I used to feel like somehow I'm going to get this big paying job for I don't know what, and be so rich that that the mistakes that I did in my 20s won't even matter anymore because I'm just gonna throw money at it. Did you feel like you would be successful enough to outlive the mistakes in your 20s? Did you feel that way while doing it?
Well, I always had this mentality, I guess, at that age is spend it and make it right back.
Right. See,
You
we
know,
used to
that-
think
that,
we
you know,
somehow it's just gonna just come back anyway, especially getting paid every week or bi-weekly.
You just like, I'm gonna get it right back. Like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, and then I'm not gonna do what I did last week. You know,
Right.
that's the whole saying. You had that one experience like that, spending like that. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like, how do you sit up there and continue to change it? You know, what I mean,
Mm-hmm.
even though it's something you're gonna do the next following 2 weeks or every da
Mm-hmm.
da da. Yeah, you're gonna make it right back. It's just
So at this stage in the game, are you just living, or do you have a plan for the future? Now, I'm gonna tie this in with the friend thing in a
well,
minute.
I'm just living. Of course, at this age, if I can go back now, of course.
Well,
you
we're
sit
gonna get there. We're gonna
Yeah,
get
we'll
there. We're gonna
definitely
get
get
there.
there.
We're gonna
yeah,
get there.
yeah,
Yeah.
of course. I don't want to
Slow down, Turbo.
As
Slow
this,
down.
subject one.
Yeah,
Like,
settle down.
the speed is his superpower, apparently.
Yeah, it's like a Sonic the Hedgehog out there.
So your friend group, I'm curious about, because I think with men, our friend groups affect a lot. So I'm kind of curious. You may prove or disprove this hypothesis, but your friend group at this stage in your life, are the bulk of you doing things to invest in the future, or are most of you just living for the moment?
Well, at this time, I think majority of everybody's kind of living for the moment. You know, at this particular age, as far as not knowing too many people that was investing like that.
Well, when I say investing in the future, I mean it could be anything like picking up a skill, going
Yeah.
to school.
Right, right.
Da-da-da-da.
I mean, the school part, yeah, okay, yeah, yeah. Of course, it was those around. You had kind of in between of both. As far as friends wise.
Okay.
Living and you have the school. You kind of in between with that. You know what I mean?
Fast forward 20 years, that friend group, are would you consider the bulk of you successful?
Yes.
You would. And
Yeah,
how do
I
you
would
define
say
that?
a percentage wise.
But what, like out of 10 of you?
No, I mean out of 10 of us.
Yeah, let's say out of 10. It's 10 of you. How many would you consider successful? And then
That's a lot of
define success.
I mean, define success would be so I say at least eight of us, give or take.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a good number.
Okay.
It's a good number.
Okay. All right. Do you consider yourself to be one of the successful ones?
I am not one of them.
Okay.
I would say, as far as the be where I would say they're at. It's
Okay.
different. Yeah.
All right. Your most successful friend, what do they do?
Lawyer.
Lawyer. Okay. How often do you talk to them?
Say that again.
How often do you talk to them?
Not that often. Because they're busy.
Right.
Yeah, their schedule is different.
I want to hear about the guys who didn't go to school though. The guys who followed your same path, right? The guys who didn't go to school, so they didn't have a structured vertical learning system to tell them read this, turn this in, and you will become that, right? The guys that had to go out there and figure it out, if you will, right? What were those guys doing at the time where you was at like the call center and stuff? What were those guys' steps to get where they are?
Well, I can probably say staying out the way in some sense.
Okay, just more focused.
Yeah, just more focused when it comes to that. The ones that was focused and the ones that that was. You can kind of see it now. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Did you get yourself in any type of debt at all at that point when you were young, kind of staying with your parents? I mean your grandfather, grandma, and I'm sure you had a car of some sort. But did you see yourself getting in debt to where you are living check to check, even though you shouldn't?
Yeah,
With not having much overhead
I
like
mean,
that.
no, because not major debt because I really wasn't using the credit cards aspect of everything yet. So if it was that, it really, I had car insurance, a car note, et cetera. So, you was current on that type of stuff. It was just more so the saving aspect of things. You feel what I'm saying? Did
you feel like you were living check to check?
Yes. Facts.
Okay.
Yeah.
So even then you were living check to check. Okay. How much? And this was at the kind of $20 an hour, just having a car, still living check to check. So at $20 an hour. So how long did you stay at the sales position?
Well, for this position, probably 2 years at this point. About 2 years. Mm-hmm.
2 years at this point. Okay, so you stayed there 2 years.
Do you remember at this time your frame of mind? Like,
Yeah, that was literally about to say, like, at that point, what was your mind state of where to go next?
like
if you were, because currently you're living check to check, and now you're going to the next job. Are you thinking, okay, I'm check to check here. This next one has got to be it, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, what were you thinking?
that was, you know, going to the next job is like I need to make more money
Okay.
to, you know, obviously I'm spending. You feel like you're spending more, you need to make more money, right? And that was the thing. So my mindset was like, all right, I need to make more money going to this next job, even though I'm living check to check, right?
Of course,
I need to
more
make
money.
more than
That's
I need to
the
make
fix.
20. I need to make at least 25 now. I need to get to that 25 rate because this is, you know, outside. You living, you know, at the current, you know, state I'm in. I'm going outside. I'm living, enjoying life. You
So
know,
are
buying,
you saying?
buying that shoes, clothes. You know how that goes.
I think what ends up happening a lot is that our lifestyle runs
Lifestyle.
light years faster than our actual gaining power
Yeah, they call it
and
lifestyle creep.
potential. That's what do they call it?
Yeah.
Lifestyle creep.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is your lifestyle was going so fast, and what happens is you're like I was saying earlier, this because I've done the same thing, and I'm sure you all have as well. Is that you end up thinking that okay, I know I enjoy partying. I enjoy the time that I'm having. I don't want to be left out. You've got that FOMO. I mean, a serious case. You hear me? And you don't want to be the guy that's not at the club. You're like, damn, what's such and so? What's so at? Oh man, he ain't out tonight. Oh man, this broke ass nigga, man, he don't got no. That's why he done. You don't want to be that guy. So you stay in the clubs and you have just enough that nobody asks you any questions. But then you end up getting in a certain age, you're like, damn, I really am living check to check. And then you think so where was your head going into the next job?
And the
You,
next
you you were
job,
just like, I need to make more money.
I just need to make more money and be able to travel. You know, that was just
Okay. Travel and making more money was at the frontal lobe of
frontal
your
lobe
brain. Okay.
and travel because you know, once you get a taste of traveling, it's like it's a high. So you know, living close to the Bahamas, you go over there a few times. That's a 30-minute flight.
Are
So
you talking
now,
about Miami? I got you.
yeah. You're going from, you know, from Miami, Orlando, wherever, to the Bahamas, and it's a thing in Jamaica, et cetera. You go to those couple of places, and you're like, all right, boom, do this over and over.
Okay.
And
So
thanks
there
to
was
that,
an
yeah,
anchoring, there was a thirst for
yeah.
travel once you've had a taste with
On top of
a round trip flight to the Bahamas and JA as well. You just couldn't get enough. And at that point, you thought, all right, well, I got to make more money to continuously feed this lifestyle of travel and leisure. And what job did you go into to quench that thirst?
so I went into the tourist industry.
Okay, travel and tourism.
I went into hospitality and
Okay.
hospitality sales.
So still
And
sales.
yeah, still sales.
Did you feel comfortable in sales at this point? Like sales was your thing. You felt, you know what, I'm a
Sales is
sales agent. You felt like
sales.
a sales agent now? You felt like that was you?
Yeah, yeah. You feel like okay, I can sell. I can, you know, selling TV was cool. Let's go to the next product that's, you know,
Okay.
beneficial to, you know, a consumer. You know,
So
of course. Yeah, that
you
was that.
exam did you examine this opportunity for its earning potential, or this was more so about the travel?
It was more so about the travel.
Okay.
It was more so about the travel.
Really? Okay. Oh, so this was to get travel discounts.
That's correct.
I'm thinking you wanted to make more money to afford to travel. I didn't necessarily think
It's both for both spectrums, though. You know what
that
I
you.
mean?
Okay, so tell us about the finance jump
So the finance jump is technically, um, it's not more than a dollar more hourly. You know what I
because you was
mean?
at 17 at
Yeah, I was 17. I was at
cable.
17, and then the overtime you had like $20. You know,
Of
because
course,
you always doing
absolutely,
overtime sales.
always.
So you bring it up to 21 technically over here because once you get established in sales, you know you're doing a consistent. Go ahead.
What did you sign the paper
Mhm.
for
18,
for
$18.
H in at HR meeting or whatever y'all
Okay,
went through?
$18. So that
Okay,
that's 18. It's a dollar
okay,
more.
Okay,
Right.
so, and the reason why I stay on that, because I kind of what I want, and you correct me if I'm wrong on this. I want us to look at that piece of paper that they send us to sign as far as your compensation, your hourly compensation rate, for you to sign off and give it the A-OK. I want you to look at that as your papers on what you're worth.
All right, don't count overtime.
And do not count no goddamn overtime, because if it just like the slaves and the blacks, if you didn't have they went by what was on your papers. They didn't care what overtime you did. What is on them paperwork? So that paperwork that shows your hourly rate, I want us to look at that as this is how much I was able to auction myself off, and this was the highest bidder. And hold on, and it's not as if you just go to this one and you can go to a few other ones. No, this is the one that takes up 40 hours of your week. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, at the end of the day, even when people use the overtime number, that's still defined by the underlying regular hour number. Like,
correct. You could be getting a larger overtime number if your base rate was higher. But us, unfortunately, we believe we somehow, I think in our brain, we like add those two things up and like make it an hourly. I don't know. I don't know.
You say blacks. Yeah. I say this is a problem that is facing that men in general are facing. Men in general, people in general are facing this dilemma where, unfortunately, we come from a time frame where everyone wants to feel good. Mm-hmm. And so right now, in order for people to feel better about whatever they have going on, they do whatever they can. They put as much stank on it as they possibly can. So I understand it. Yeah. But I think one of the things I tell, I'm sorry, I'm not on the mic. One of the things that I tell people is that in order to get where you're going, if I were to blindfold you and drop you in the woods and I said, see you in Kansas, the first thing you're going to have to do is figure out where you are. Yeah. You can't get where you're going until you know exactly where you are. So when we build euphemisms around our situation, you're throwing the GPS off. You're over by the river now.
And you'll notice yourself, because like I said, you are a product to sell. You say you're working in sales, but if you think about it, the one product you haven't tried was yourself. You haven't sold yourself at a high dollar. You know what I'm saying? So at the sales job you're working at, you've bumped up $1. Did you in any of these jobs, did you ever move up in the job? Like, did you ever, have a few bump ups in the job, or you just kind of stayed at that position and then jumped to the next job?
Yeah, I just stayed in that position, just went to the next job.
Okay, so all jobs were just, I'm at this position, then I'm at another goddamn job.
Yeah.
Okay.
When you come to the supervisor, just I guess the extra work was, not something a fan of.
Okay. And funny enough, we're back with the too much work, right? So,
we appreciate your honesty.
I'm only saying this because, like I said, just like a product, you have to, if the reviews are bad, you have to take the product back and see what did you. I be thinking that my Airbnbs be immaculate. Somebody said it was hair on the floor. I gotta reestablish my cleaners. Say, hey, I thought it was okay, but clearly two people didn't think it was all that. So we need to do something else. You get what I'm saying? We need to review ourselves more often and give ourselves a honest review so we can fix it. You get what I'm saying? So that's why I be trying to get us aware of our thought processes and our talking patterns, right? To where we're moving on these little jobs and we're trying to figure out how to not work hard. but we're not trying to learn anything so we don't have to work hard, I guess, for manual labor. So at this job, you didn't want to move up, so you go from that sales job. Where's the next job? You're at 18. Where are we at next?
No. This we at 24 now.
$24 an hour?
No. You say we at 18, and then
No,
what you say?
$18 an hour, the
Yeah,
hourly
18.
rate.
Okay, yeah, 18 an hour.
And
then
you're
plus
24. That's good that you told us the age, though. I almost forgot about that. You're 24 years old.
24, making 18.
24
plus
18.
commission, but it's a high commission on the sale.
Okay.
So it's a pretty much an increase in the job sales commission structure.
How much would you say you brought in a year?
Yeah, I was about to go. I was about to just
Okay,
take it
if
to the
you're going in
year.
a year, you're talking about at this time at 24, 25, about 40, 45.
Okay.
You made that
And
consistently?
this is final year at that job was about
Okay.
45, 45.
That was your
So this
max.
was a check-to-check job as well at the time.
That was still check to check.
Okay.
Yeah, it was still check to check.
But you felt good about the check-to-checkness
I felt
a little
good.
better.
Felt okay.
Yeah. You know how you.
Okay.
Yeah, I for sure know.
Yeah.
Listen, every move up mattered.
Yeah, right.
And this is the third job thus far, right? We're at job 3. What we say? We have
Yeah.
the baggage claim, the call center, and now sales.
Right.
Okay, so we have
still
three.
yeah.
We have 3 jobs down. All 3 we're still living check to check.
And at no point during this time had you considered an advanced skill. Is that true or false?
I thought about going back to school for engineering, and then kind of did self, taught on that stuff.
Yeah.
And never went back to it. You know what I mean? It is something something I could potentially charge down the line because I know how to do it. But never went back in for the official certificate or anything like that, the certification, or even to be saying, okay, I have a skill set for this engineering.
Okay, so I have 2 questions.
Right.
First question is, why did you not go back for
I think I was comfortable where I was at, and I figured, at a certain age, you say, okay, where I'm at, I can make at least 50 to 60 and I'll be okay. If I can make that every year or even up, I'll be good. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So you figure that you would, that would increase amongst those years. You feel what I'm saying? From the 45 to 50, 55, etc. You're only going to get probably anywhere $2,000-$3,000 raise depending on your job each year, depending on how they operate, and then depending on also how you do it yourself.
So
Well, hold on. Let me.
Go ahead, go
The
ahead.
second question. Second question is, why did you discontinue tinkering on your own and just advancing the skill set on your own outside of an academic setting?
I think that I just got caught up with different projects that I just got caught up with. I just never took it serious. It's just one of them things you just continue with life. It's just moving. It's just one of them things I probably can't even answer because I just never went back and said, okay, why I didn't, stop and do that pivot and go back to school for it.
Well,
I
no.
looked into it.
See, the second
Yeah.
part of this question isn't even about school. The second part of this question is, why aren't you just a garage tinkerer?
I don't know.
they have some of those. Yeah, they have some of those. It's just a
I
hobby.
mean, Nikola Tesla did a lot.
Yeah,
Just
I mean, yeah. That, like I said, it's just one of them things I never went back, to
Gotcha.
put
To just tinker
myself
with.
in that environment. I still can, yeah. Absolutely. I just never put myself back in that environment. I have maybe like 1 or 2 times, recently, and it's crazy. One of my boys like, boy, you look like you was intrigued what was going on, and I kind of was because it was like, all right. I was like, damn, I remember doing this. You know what I mean? And it's like, it is a very unique process in that engineering field. You feel what I'm saying? So, especially anything with engineering is, obviously, I just found out one of my cousins is an engineer, and it's crazy how he talks about, how hard, the work to be an engineer and to be in certain positions.
Like a mechanical engineer? Do you know what kind of engineer? Civil engineer?
I can't remember right
Okay.
now. Actually, hold on. Do I have
Computer
this?
engineer? I wasn't trying to put you on the spot. It's cool. I know there's different. I was just curious.
It says assistant field engineer. It just say assistant field engineer. Business card.
Okay.
But yeah, it's just one of those things. I never went back in just really put myself in that environment. I only did it like I said 1 or 2 times recently, and I sensed it. That damn, what if I would have continued, and how much success I could have potentially had with this.
I got a question. At this point, at 24, we're at job 3 going into job 4, 24 years old, $18 an hour. Have you asked anybody for their advice at this point? Like, have you asked anyone else an opinion about what you should do next?
No, because I was doing it. I was taking.
You was
care
doing it
of my-
real time.
Yeah, you feel like I'm taking care of myself. I'm buying my clothes. I'm paying my, this. I'm doing that. If any help needed, I can help out. But it's still like not enough. You know what I mean? You feel like it's not enough, but I'm comfortable. Everybody's like, "Well, you're doing good." Nobody, you don't really, step to anybody. Everybody's still doing their thing.
So you didn't have like a natural desire for more.
Yeah.
I always had a natural desire for more, but to go question, my, about my, self.
Right.
I never. I just kind of went off of, I'm not falling off. You know what I mean? Like it's one of them things. I'm not falling off because people fall off.
Now, at what point do you think you were on?
On probably.
To where there's a risk of falling off. One would ask this in the comment section, so I'm jumping ahead of it.
I would say probably when I was in, say, about 28, 29.
Oh, okay, you fast forwarding.
You get a little bit older.
Well, I'm talking about at 24. Was there? You're not talking about at 24.
Yeah.
You don't have fear of falling off at that
No,
point.
I don't. At 24, I'm not scared of failure.
Gotcha.
If that's you're going through those bumps. You're young.
Okay. So you're saying at this point you haven't asked anyone for any advice, any of your friends? I know you said that you have a lawyer friend, right?
Yeah.
And other friends that ended up being successful. Did you guys ever brainstorm to where you're like, man, we got to come up with something, man? What you doing? Such and such. I'm doing this. What you
that's
doing
the
next?
that's the crazy thing. No, not like that in a sense. Because we was also distanced too. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like, in the same cities, so it's only,
okay.
yeah, it's holiday time, or, how you come around, it's, the loved ones and stuff like that.
So still to this point, you don't have let's say a big homie to bounce ideas off of for him to say yay or nay. You're
Right,
just kind of living life, like I was telling you the other day, in real time.
Right.
There's no stop in a real time. This doesn't even mean you're living a fast life. It just doesn't stop. That's all. It's just you just press play.
Yeah,
You just worried about the next day.
Just the next day, making sure everything stays on. Okay, so at this time you're still with your people. You've got your same bills for the most part. Are you involved with anyone at this point? Are you in a relationship of any sort? Because I'm just trying to gather up information to see what could possibly be holding you back or taking up some of your time.
Well, of course, there's girlfriends in between there. You have in that age. That's definitely a play.
Anything serious?
Yeah, I had maybe
Some.
the early age between 20, 22, and then roughly outside of that, just just life.
Nothing towards marriage or on the brink or this is my fiance.
No, not at this age.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. So we could proceed to the next occupation. So now your thought process is what? Before I believe it was getting more money and more leisure and travel.
Yep.
So now you're at a job to where you're into the travel tourism. That's the fourth job, right?
Selling tourist packages.
That's
or
the
something?
tour. Yeah. What are you doing?
Yeah. So
What are you doing here?
this is actually this time
Timeshares.
actually selling hotel suites, property type
Okay.
resort.
So still sales.
Yeah,
You're
still
definitely hanging on to that strong, which is great. Okay. Still in sales.
keep that, and that was the forefront for the next couple of years. And of course, you got a recruit for me to come into another industry within the tourism industry. So that was a couple of years after, which was increase as well. And
Well, first, with
Yeah.
the first job, because we were at 18, what did we sign our freedom papers for? What was our paper saying?
so as far as the 18, that was, of course, for the 8 hours you do, hourly plus commission at that particular job.
Okay, so there was no hourly increase from the one sales to the next sales. What made you go to this job? Was there like a
That's what I was about to
It was
dive
it was a recruit. It was a recruit for the. It was a recruit. It was like, hey, just come over here. You'll make a better commission on this side. Then on that.
the commission seemed a little sweeter over there, so you didn't go
Hourly-
for the hourly rate. Now you're kind of commission chasing at this point.
Yeah. No, I
Okay,
was
go ahead.
more commission chasing. Yeah. So that's pretty much where it went from there. And then I was there for a couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
And then not at this point, I'm not even thinking about. I'm just thinking about staying afloat at this
Afloat,
time.
yep.
Right.
Yep,
So,
that's about the time. Were you about what 28?
Yep, getting at that
Mm-hmm.
that time. Then relationships come in. You're getting older.
Yep.
Now you got responsibilities. Now you need stability and benefits. The stuff that you need to really think about later on in life. So that's what I look for after that. After that, then I was with that company for almost 7 years, 8 years.
Wow.
That was an increase, and everything else. That's from 29 to after the 20. After I left that job, I was 24, 26. So I was there for like 2.5 years. Then
So
I took some
28.
time. I took some time off,
Time off, yeah.
and then I went back. And then I just I went back to the TV industry.
What job did you work at? You said it's like six years or something like that you just said.
I went back into the TV. I was at NBC Universal with that one.
Okay, doing what? What were you doing there?
I was account sales on that one as well.
This was like customer service again.
Oh, this is sales. For NBC Universal.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. So now you're thinking what? What's your similar to what we asked earlier? What's your mind state
At this point, my mind's is okay. I got a good job with benefits now.
Okay, so now you're benefit chasing. You got the benefits now. You're good.
I got the benefits now.
Okay, so now you're stagnant. You're not really making any increases. You don't see much of a yearly increase.
Was here too. It was an increase as well. So this would kind of put you at, before the commission aspect of things, you're looking at $26 an hour. Over here,
26.
26.
This is with commission and everything else. You mean?
No, this is the hourly
This is the base rate, $26 an
this is the
hour
base,
plus commission.
plus the commission.
Okay, well, how old are you here when you're making $26?
So this is about 30.
You're 30 years old, $26. What,
yeah.
what would you say? Would you say at 30, 26, is that par for the course, or are we off at this point?
For how much he's making?
Right now he's making $26 an hour, so that's a little bit above the medium average for the blacks. I don't know.
I think at this stage back then, probably.
That's true. Maybe back then it was.
I mean, back then, this is you want to say what 10, about 12 years ago.
Okay.
$26 an hour. Hold on, let me see.
Back then.
Well, I'll put up a graphic. We're not gonna hold the
Yeah,
show up for it.
yeah.
I'll fact
Because
check myself.
Yeah, it's like
at this time,
54,000,
54.
55,000.
Okay.
at this time, you want to be making anywhere between the 60 and 80 range. With life is, you
Okay.
can tell life is going up. You know what I mean?
Right.
But if you're doing anywhere between that 60 and 80, you're
Hmm.
doing, you're doing decent. That's, I guess you want to say that's decent in life.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is that 55 would be, I think 55 might be median now,
It is.
right?
Yeah.
It is.
So back
It is.
then he was doing good.
So he's doing good. Okay. All right. So we're still doing good now. Asking you that question I asked you earlier. Do you think to this point, from baggage claim to selling, you said what you were selling now? TV. You said you went back to
NBC.
TV,
Yeah, they went back to the TV.
doing some TV stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
Going back to TV stuff. Do you feel like you've learned anything from baggage claim to selling TVs now?
No.
Okay. Did you ever think about that then, or no? You're just living life in real time.
Yeah, just living life real time.
So you're doing that, and now you're making what the median average is now. So was your thought ever to go into a different profession, or were you just feeling like sales was going to take you off into retirement at this point? Because right now, at this point, you're almost 30, right? At this point in the game, in the sales, in this job here. So are you thinking about retirement at all, or that's not really on the frontal lobe yet?
I wasn't even thinking about retirement at this moment because I still felt like I still had to build up more capital.
Yeah. You
Yes,
still
the
feel like
same.
you're fighting because at this point you're
Feel
still
like
check to
you're
check.
fighting.
Were you taking advantage of like your 401ks and stuff
Yeah,
like
I'm
that?
taking advantage of all that stuff. That's all kicking in. That stuff you don't even look at. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Okay.
That's the benefits. When you go into this particular job place. But yeah, that was the benefit. That's acquiring your assets, your stock and everything else you're doing with the company. That's investing in you. It's matching, and yeah, that's always the forefront.
What would you say at this time? Now you're 30. You're making decent money to sustain yourself. You said at this point you're still living check to check somehow by your spending habits.
Right.
Now, at what point did you ever figure at one point like, okay, maybe it's the spending habits? It's not really that, because we've just kind of confirmed that you weren't doing as bad as you may have thought you were doing, but
Right. I may not. Yeah, it's more so the spending. You're living on the edge. That's what I say. From what I could say, I was living on the edge. You know, Nowadays I don't live like that. You know, it's just something I can't do now.
okay.
Yeah, nowadays you try not to live check to check, but in this society, the way they, if you don't have no extra stuff going on, you definitely check the check right now. I don't care what you say, unless you got some extra stuff going on.
So
It's
right,
not-
so right
yeah.
now at 30, well, not right now, but in this timeline, were you thinking about something else, like something on the side? Everyone's always got a side gig
Well,
or some
yeah.
type of thing. You know what I'm saying? What's
I
that?
thought
You might as well
about
just go
I
ahead and
thought
throw
about
that in there.
I thought about the real estate game real heavy, due to the layout of the state. I always thought about that as being because it continues into another sales aspect of things.
True. Okay. So going into being a real estate agent, a realtor.
Right.
So at this point in your life, you're kind of sold on the idea that sales is the skill that you're kind of marketing for for yourself professionally.
Yeah.
Hey, I
Right.
can sell stuff.
Right. Yeah, I can
Okay.
sell stuff. I can say, all right, and I can potentially sell the higher commission, with real estate, and then I got to go get my license and all this other stuff. I thought about that too, and then going through that process, I was going through relationships, getting married, and all this other stuff,
You got
and
married at
then
30.
32 around there.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
around that too, around
Now
that
we're
area.
on to something.
So when that played part, of course, like I said, that responsibility, and then with my other half job conditions, we had two places. So we had a place here, we had a place there. So we had two different, places in two different cities.
Y'all were dating long distance?
Yes, we was doing dating long distance. So you have long distance with two residents. And
Okay.
I don't want to say that we was living together at once, but once jobs come into play,
Yeah, y'all kind of had to finish that out or figure out what you was gonna do. Who? I'm assuming that you guys ultimately merged households
Yeah.
at some point.
yeah, yeah.
Who moved in with who?
We were. I don't even know how
Or
to
who
say it.
moved? Who moved where? I'm assuming. Or did y'all go somewhere completely different?
Well, as far as who moved in, we would rephrase that question.
Like you said, y'all was long distance. Like what? You was in Tampa, she was in
Yeah,
Tallahassee,
so
or
yeah, I was in Miami. She was in Tampa.
okay.
So
And where did y'all ultimately end up in?
right now, Florida to Orlando. Right now.
Okay. Okay. So you moved somewhere completely. You
Yeah,
didn't necessarily
we
move to
all
Tampa.
yeah.
Okay. So y'all got a completely different place when y'all
Right now.
merged
Yeah.
together.
Right.
Okay. Okay. Cool. So at this point, and let me ask you a question prior to the marriage, because I didn't necessarily mean to slip into the marriage as of yet. But at this time, are you looking for a wife?
No, this just happened. It was like the
Really?
relationship. Yeah, that was one of those things that how we met was it just happened. And sometimes you just go with, faith, I always say, you know. So it was one of those moments where, it fit and we went with the flow. You know what I mean? That was just the moment.
From
So
from your standards, did you believe that you can take care of a wife and household? Because at this point, I guess now you were staying by yourself. You moved out of your people's crib, right? When you were staying in Miami.
right, right, right.
Okay,
Yeah. So
you had your own spot, just you, or did you
yeah,
have a roommate or something?
yeah. No, I had my own spot. Which like I say, rent back then was $800,
Okay,
for a one bedroom. You know what I
okay.
mean?
So you
That's
could
back.
afford that
Yeah, I mean that's
at that time
yeah, that
with
which
your
is
salary.
you're looking about cost of living about 1,500, give or take, lights, food. Back then, you go to the grocery store and kind of splurge out on 100, $200.
You ball out.
You know,
Okay. Okay. So you felt like yes, I was ready to take on a wife and a household, potential kids, stuff like that, the whole nine. White picket fence, a dog, and all of that. So now you have added more responsibility. Have you now increased your income from 30? Where are you next on the timeline as far as the next occupation goes, or the next bump in pay on that
well,
paper that we were talking about?
well, the job itself was very lucrative, so
Oh, okay. So you were
yeah,
good right there. You were
yeah.
good at
At the
55.
point, yeah, I went a little bit above that because of, like I said, the commission structure. So I went from the 60 with my OT to about 90. By the time I end up leaving, one of my my best year, because like I said, it went from 50, 55, it goes up. I was at 59, year two, 60, I say about the third, fourth year I had it under my flow. So yeah, I was about 75. I'm going up. By the time I'm pretty much in my sixth, seventh year, I'm at 80, 90 a year.
Okay, okay.
By
So
this time,
at your
yeah, yeah.
at your sixth to seventh year,
Hmm.
in this job here, you have now cracked. You say 90,000 one year.
Yeah, bro.
How much?
Okay.
And the bulk of that is commission.
The bulk of that is commission. That's correct.
Are these self-generated leads, or is this like
This
more of
is,
a
yeah, this,
inbound
this
call
is
center?
inbound. Yeah, this is inbound. Yeah,
Okay. So these people are already coming in wanting to be sold.
they already want these, sir. They already
Okay.
want this stuff. Yeah.
At any point, because this would be what, the third sales job at this point. I'm losing
Right.
count now.
Yeah, it's about the third one. Hmm.
Have you ever had a self-generated lead, like you act like a door-to-door, or you've actually gone to somebody who didn't want nothing and sold them something, like a salesman?
No.
Do you think that's required to be like a salesman, to sell someone who doesn't want anything?
Do I think it should be required in the definition?
Not necessarily the definition, but if someone is to say, because like me, I worked at a call center based type of thing as a tech, not as sales, but there was still incentives for us to sell to the client when they got on the line. You know what I mean? But this doesn't mean that I was necessarily a sales rep, but there was still an incentive for it. You know what I mean? So now you are at this job, but you haven't gained any increase in the amount of money that you're making. But you've gone to 90 though, and you're comfortable with 90. And then what happens now that you're at 90? And do you go to another job? Are you looking for something more lucrative, or are you comfortable with 90?
Comfortable. You get
Comfy.
comfortable. Yeah, you get comfortable. Of course, you want to make more. Not saying that. Of course, I didn't try to make the six figures, because of course that's always a goal too.
Hey, yeah, I mean, at this point, you're only 10
You're on
away.
your way. You're on your way. But then, right then and there, the pandemic happened.
The pandemic. So would you say your skill, or at least your job, I guess at that point, wasn't pandemic proof?
It was and it wasn't. And the only reason of course, I want to say at that time we was essential for the services that we were providing, but the government got involved, and we had to facilitate certain things to, you know, um, I want to say to the less fortunate. So when they come into play, now I'm just doing stuff for free.
Okay.
So that was a
Okay.
little different. So now your pay is different, because now you're not getting paid out on certain sales, because this person needs this services now. So, we have to give it to them because the government said. I don't want to get into that, but that's just one of those things that that affected my work field.
Okay. So y'all started selling what, like more subsidized packages or
Subsidized
something like
services,
that?
stuff like that. Correct.
Okay, for lower income. Okay,
Yeah.
all right. And I guess that there wasn't much commission in that.
Yeah. So now your whole structure is
Okay.
complete. It's going a different direction.
Okay. So with that following year, where were you at then?
The following year was still flowing because of
Because you said the pay went down. So where
the
would you
pay went
say?
down. So I started doing different things outside of that. So and that's just I got into a little bit of nightlife, doing a few things there, making a little extra money to make up for some of the differences, but not too much enough to make it back to a six figure aspect of things, because of being in two places working crazy hours like that.
So it seems like you had your eggs all in one basket. Now, at this point, have you assessed the skills that you have at that point in our timeline?
Yeah, at this timeline, yeah.
Okay.
By this time, I'm like, all right, yeah, I need to. It's two things, like you say, go back to school, get a skill set that's going to carry you to the next level. Um, of course, I dib and dab into the air condition, potential business. Um, that's one of the next forefront. I look where the money is needed and where the demand is at too.
Okay.
So that's one of those things where I was kind of looking at, due to the fact, like you say, if you don't have the skill set for anything in just sales, you need something to back to carry you when you know you don't have something that's not going to be essential, or that's not going to be uh, pandemic proof, like you
Pandemic
said.
proof. So
And
what would you say is a day in the life of Subject One?
day in the life of Subject One.
Like a Monday through Friday. What from the
Hustle,
time that you wake up to the time that you close your eyes to
hustle,
go to sleep?
hustle all day. I
No,
mean,
no,
it's just yeah.
not any type of black sayings or something like actual things.
Okay.
Yeah,
A day in the
no
life.
No,
colloquialisms.
black
Yeah, well,
euphemisms.
currently, I'm still into sales right now. You know what I'm saying? So I'm back in the travel industry again.
No. This is me finding out. So what this exercise is finding out what time do you have to do something else
Oh, how much?
to
Oh, what time in the
correct. I'm
day?
trying to
Okay,
find out how
okay.
much time
Um,
is in Subject One's day, available or not available, and why.
so in a working shift day,
Take me from when you open your eyes to when you close them.
you talking
Give me the time.
so from 9 a.m.
So you wake
to
up at 9. Okay.
yeah, wake up at 9. From
Why you
9
woke up at 9?
Why? Probably because I just went to bed at like 4.
Okay, my bad. I did jump ahead. Go ahead, my fault. So
Yeah, so
9.
so give or take from 9 to roughly working shift, probably about 10, 11. So that'll
Okay.
be my normal day. Like I shut it
So
down.
you just kind of wake up from just around 9 and you start work around 10 or something?
I start working around 9:30. I'm emailing.
Okay.
So yeah,
Okay, so you kind of wake up just in time for work. You work from home,
yeah, I work from home.
remote. Okay, okay. So you wake up around 9. You start work immediately, pretty much,
Hmm.
and then you work for sounds like about 12 hours.
12 hours a day.
Work 12 hours, and now it's 10 o'clock.
Right.
All right, now what? That's it.
After that, I unwind. I do a little bit of research, but normally with my eyes in the computer, I kind of take a break and detach for a little bit there.
Okay,
And
yeah, because you are looking at a computer. I mean, for
yeah,
12 hours a day as well.
like
That's your day
12
job.
hours. Okay, yeah.
Okay.
So after that, you just take a detach from there, and then try to sit there and brainstorm a few things and see what's the next play. Obviously, but
What'd you
that's
come
that's
up with so far?
well normally when it comes to that, I would say the AC thing I've been looking at is like the most, like I say, sought out in the real estate. So it's just like those are kind of like my two things I just haven't put the hours in to for one to go to school for it. I got to do certification for both of those, regardless. And the
Okay.
hours that I have, it'd be impossible unless I take time off from work to
What
actually
do,
do it.
what do you think about the idea of him becoming a electrician? How old are you now? Did we say that earlier? We said that earlier, I think.
40, how'd you say?
How old are you? How old are you?
40.
40. Okay.
40.
Do you think that's a good idea to go into being an electrician starting at 40 or real estate?
I would go electrician before I went real estate,
Me
Just-
too. If I was choosing one,
just
or the
because it's
other.
a hard skill that's gonna always be used, and then it can just go in so many directions. I was in a data center in Chicago, and I can promise you the electrical that they do in data centers, nothing like regular electrical work. Those are specialized people that know what they're doing in there. So there's all kinds of different realms for stuff. So
Yeah,
I
I don't think about it. It's at least not in our lifetime that I know of. I don't think it's going to be a time that we're just not going to need electricity. You get what I'm saying?
no.
Not that I know of. So electricity is not going anywhere. It is in the entire world at this point. So you can get a job in the entire world as an electrician.
And more importantly, you can listen. Electricity is all around us. You can practice and tinker with being an electrician, all on your own. Don't do anything that'll kill yourself. Of
course.
Probably be really safe or whatever. But I have a cousin that's he's working on being an electrician. I asked him his long-term goal, and he told me his long-term goal was to be a journeyman, which I get it. That's fantastic. I told him that the difference between people like me and people like him was that my goal would be to be Nikola Tesla, not a journeyman.
Yeah.
So I encourage people to get hard, tough skills that stand the test of time. Because at the end of the day, to be honest with you, I do pretty good for myself. Will I be okay in retirement? I have no idea. I know I have a skill set that I'll be able to sell if push comes to shove. I'll be able to get some oatmeal.
Oatmeal's pretty good.
Oatmeal's pretty good.
Oatmeal's pretty damn delicious. Okay, so at this point, you are at the sales job still. So you're still doing sales through and through. As far as your day is, you wake up at the exact time that you got to go to work. And then once you're done work, because you've worked 12-hour shifts, now it's time to unwind because you feel like you now deserve a break. Okay. Where are you at now? Because the last time we spoke about salary, we were up in the $90,000.
Wow.
$90,000. This was what, like 2005 or something like that? When is this?
Give us the
It's 2015?
give us a rough estimate.
1920 or the 90?
No. The year, because you said you were 30. So we're talking about 2015,
2000. That's like what's this? What's this year?
2025, pretty much.
Yeah, 15. Yeah, 15.
Okay, so we were at 90 then. I guess fast forward, whatever happened during those times, and now we're here. Where are we now?
Right now, this year, we're looking at this is another.
Just say it. I know it's tough.
Yeah,
you got to rip the.
yeah,
I know.
We're getting into that part
I'm
of the
telling you,
conversation.
Rip
Rip it. You got to.
Well, hold on, real quick. I want to preface it before you say this. This goes back to the thing I said about in order to get where you're going, you have to know exactly where you are.
Yes.
So I said that for a reason.
So this year, nowhere over 60 right now. So I'm about 55 right now.
Okay, so over from 2015 to today's date, we have made a drop from 90 to under 60. Right. So we say 50?
30% loss.
Yeah.
30. So that's a 30. That's like a 30% reduction in
what
effectiveness or worth or whatever you want to call it.
Besides blaming the pandemic, what did you physically lose? You know how in sports, right? If when you talk about stats, something fell off. LeBron getting older, or
had that
he
Achilles
had an Achilles injury.
The structure at the company went down.
The structure at that company. Okay, could you have gone to another company and stayed at 90? Because you had just said, "Oh shit, the structure is sweet. I got to get out of here and continue to make my 90. I got to get out of here."
The thing about this one was that the crazy thing, I was going to be a supervisor at this job, and I kind of took a step back from taking on the extra responsibilities once we got home, because even some of the supervisors, like, man, they working the hell out of us since we got home. Mm-hmm. So I was like, I took a step back and said, no. The company promised that our pay would increase after they reassess some things, which it never happened. It kept going down.
Why would you need to go higher than 90?
Why would I need to go higher?
They said your pay would increase. I mean, you were at 90. You thought your pay was going to increase higher than that.
Yeah, I wanted to.
With the same skills.
Yeah, the same skill.
Yeah, for the same skill. You want to go higher than 90, of course.
Okay, fair.
Yeah, but they just, they never.
Why?
I don't know why bro, I can't even ask.
No. Why would they give you more money for what?
What you mean to pay? Why would they give us more money?
Yeah, why would they? So you're providing the same thing to them, correct?
Right.
And you're saying that they were just going to come in one day and say, "Hey guys."
Yeah, you didn't have increased output, so they're literally cutting into their bottom line.
Yeah.
Well, we have other products that we had to sell too, though. That was added on too, so it was extra.
You were making the company more money.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're making the company more money. For sure.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
there's always, involved, growth and everything, products and stuff that they bring out that we had to
I know
sell.
companies just usually bring in more products for their sales reps
Bring in
to,
more
to
products.
sell. I mean, they're not looking to pay you more for it
They're not looking
necessarily.
to pay you.
That's why they hired sales reps to sell the product that they have, that they acquire. They pay for it, they want you to sell it. Okay, so you thought they were going to go up in pay, but they in actuality went down, not just down a little bit. We talking about 30, 40, $50,000 clip almost, right? So did you stay at the job as you slid down the poverty ladder? Or slide? They say slid, huh?
I would say I was looking for the way out. I was looking to get out. And then I'm looking for, at this time, to say I'm done with corporate America.
So at this point, this is from the 90 to 50. Let's just put a round number on it. 90 to 50. We've lost a smooth 40, and we said we're done with the problem that we saw was it's corporate. That's the issue.
That was the issue as you see it. So again, and I'm probably going to talk more in this section. I'm sorry.
Please.
So at this stage, you've assessed, you've gone through what you've gone through, and you looked in the mirror and you said that the issue at hand, if the company that I was working for was different, I'd be in a better place.
Yeah.
Did you have people around you that supported that hypothesis?
No.
Okay.
I mean, well, yeah. I mean, not the no.
No.
And that goes back to what I was telling them about having the big homie. You know what I mean? If you didn't really have anyone to bounce ideas off of, I'm sure, and that's what I was saying about having a big homie, having certain type of friends around you, because I'm sure you felt like you had plenty of friends. I'm sure
Right.
you've hung out with guys and you kind of just show up with your shades on and your do-rag and your Jordans, and y'all just kind of hanging, right? You're drinking Hennessy and things. And just how, I don't know. I just gotta go full black. You know, I just gotta go full black.
And we're both offended.
Absolutely, as you should. Be,
All right.
Highly. So but you guys are just hanging out. You guys have a good time for those 3.5, 4 hours, and you guys part ways, and you may see each other in 2 weeks or so at the billiard.
I'm going to ask the big question in the room. At this stage, when you step back at 40 years old, how do you feel about your situation? Be honest. I want you to.
Honest opinion, I feel a little bit more of disappointed at this point.
That's a good word.
That's a good word.
That's a good word.
Disappointed.
Good word. I like that word.
Like you say, 20 years of learning. It's a lot of years. You got another 20 to figure out. Not figure out, but the next 20 definitely has to be one of the best 20 of your lifetime.
Right. So at this stage, you're disappointed. So you're 40. You've gone through what you've gone through. You're at the stage where you're disappointed. What decisions do you feel like or what actions are you taking now to make sure the next 20 years are not like the last 20 years?
Just move different on investing, moving money that works for you while you sleep, and that's stock market, going in different things and that way. Just thinking of different avenues, not trying to get rich or just different ways. But I know where you're about to go with this one.
What am I gonna say?
You go for. I kind of sense where you're going.
Well,
with this.
no. This isn't a trick. I'm not.
you smell it?
I listen. Believe it or not, my hope is that you are tracking along and just kind of like, if you can get there before I get there, awesome. So, what do you think my mind is going?
He's actually catching himself.
You can't invest without the capital.
Okay.
Yeah, so I kind of know that's the avenue there. So
Funny enough, that actually wasn't what I was thinking, but that's very true, and it kind of can lean toward, because what I noticed in everything you said, nothing you said had anything to do with acquiring a skill and bettering yourself. Everything was some
Somehow,
amalgamation of a bunch of other things that may come together one day to make something positive happen.
juggling the $14 you got, and
Right.
trying to make a big investment.
Right. So why do you think still at this stage you still default to
I think
avoiding?
and one thing I can say, probably avoiding the going back to school aspect of things, maybe.
Well, okay. Well, who said you have to go back to school?
Not school, but just in any way, so,
Just learning?
Yeah.
just the whole studying process. You got to get back into that whole zone. Maybe that might be the one thing that I don't think I have the time for. You know what I mean? I just is scared of putting that focus time away for something that would benefit me.
Now, I love this conversation of time. Chris knows this is one of my favorite conversations because I'm a unique individual when it comes to how people consider time. So the first question I'm going to ask you is, what is the minimum amount of sleep you require in order to function for a day?
Maybe 4 hours sleep.
4 hours. Have you tried sleeping 4 hours and then functioning for a day?
Yeah.
How did that go?
I mean, it's a little, draggish a little bit.
But you can do it?
Yeah, I can do
Was
it.
it like a miserable day? Like, man, I got to get this day over with. I don't never want. Was it like a hangover? For
I'm only
hours?
asking so we can get the numbers kind of right.
okay,
'Cause
yeah.
It's 4 or 5 hours, cool.
Cool.
So you don't have to commute,
Right.
right? You're not on social media
I mean, yeah, I'll be on social media throughout the day.
throughout the day, so you can cut that time out, right? Because like me, I'm actually a person. Like you see me, people see me on my phone. I read a ton of articles. Like I'm constantly taking in information on the go. We have computers in our hands. We pay thousands of dollars to have a computer in our hand to turn around and say we have no time. That's not that I don't even have to tag along with you during the day to know that's not true. Right. Like during the pandemic, man, I taught myself how to trade, how to read a stock graph. And I was doing that sitting on the toilet, making breakfast, all kinds of stuff. I do, you know what I'm saying? I don't stop. Cause you also got to remember, like at the end of the day, somebody would not want it to. Somebody in the comments is going to disagree, and I welcome it. But the reality of life in this work market is that this is a nonstop competition. Like every moment that you're not doing something, somebody else is doing something to murder you in your sleep. So, I would say I would venture to say that the real thing that you probably have to do is figure out what things in your life you need to cut out. You said you're married, so I'm not gonna suggest we get rid of her. We start somewhere else. You don't have kids, but you said you don't commit. Man, it sounds like you have a lot of time. What hobbies do you have? Do you have hobbies?
Yeah, I'm in music, music, but that's nightlife,
That's nightlife stuff.
yeah, that's nightlife stuff.
So what if you had to kind of like, if you cycle through your life, when you cycle through your life, do you see some hard skills that you think you could lean on or start to expand on?
Not at this very moment because a lot of my it's just more so selling product. That's pretty much what I do. I just sell product. I had to sell a high volume
Higher
product.
product.
Yep, for something for me to benefit from it, at least within myself or my own product, to actually have, I'd like to say a successful business for myself. I have to sell something that's gonna, that's be valuable. But that's where I stand at with it. I know I'm a marketing, sales guru, if you want to say.
You're a marketing sales guru.
Yeah.
So now this goes back to that conversation we had about knowing exactly where you are.
You're in trouble now.
Okay, I'm gonna be honest with you.
In trouble.
If you were a marketing or sales guru, a marketing or sales company would be calling you to hand you a bag of money. So you're more than likely not a marketing sales guru. You more than likely aren't good at it at all.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with that. That's just, I don't, again, this is one of those things where, like at the very beginning of my career, I graduated from school and I was applying for jobs and I was getting a ton of interviews all over the place. And I was not getting a job. So one of the first things I did was on the, when I was doing the stuff online, I removed that I was black. All of a sudden, I got significant, half the calls went away. It was insane.
I can understand why.
It was insane, the number of calls.
Why.
So after that happened, I had to sit down and I had to have a very real conversation with myself that the reality of the situation was that if I was as good as I thought I was, because I was running around saying the same kind of stuff, how awesome I am. If I was that good, someone would hire me. That's the truth. All things considered, if you're as good as you think you are able to make someone money and they will hire you. Mm-hmm. So I would, I want you, I'm actually here. This is part of this thing. I'm offering my expertise and whatever to you. So, and this is part of it. I will not allow you to lie to yourself, sir. So,
yeah. And that's what I was telling you about when you reevaluate yourself, and just like you kind of caught yourself early, you thought you were jumping in front of him, but you actually heard yourself and you stopped yourself from saying it earlier, and then you ran into it again, but it's going to take time.
right.
Yeah.
You fixed yourself earlier and then you ran right back into it again. You get what I'm saying? The quicker that you realize, so case in point, going back to where you were talking about someone actually hiring you for what you are good at, right? Someone reaching out to hire you, right? So when I went into the job market as a tech, right? There was a lot of people contacting me to be a tech because for the past decade, well, actually longer than that, maybe 15 years or so, I was a tech. That's all I was. So people were contacting me because I had experience in being a tech. It wasn't until I stopped being a tech and went out and put myself out there as a videographer or a video editor to when I realized, oh shit, I'm not as good as a videographer as I was a technician. You know what I mean? So it wasn't me. I thought I was okay to get hired, but I knew I had to get better as a video editor to make money doing it. I had to start from scratch and learn a actual skill to get paid what I wanted to get paid, especially if I wanted to get paid more than what I was worth before. Everybody was looking at me as a tech. I could not get out of a tech. Right now, you cannot get out of a call center, inbound call center type of vibe of sales. And it's always going to be, look at the amount of output that you put in to that job, right? Or input that you put into that job and what you get out of it.
Right.
You know what I mean? You've dropped 30 to 40 grand, allegedly, from 2015 to now, and you still have the same skill, in my opinion, as you had at the airport at 19. And it wasn't until I realized that, like I said, at least I was a technician, so I was able to be a handyman and work with my hands in endeavors outside of my 9 to 5 as well. But yet and still, it was still, like you said, the hustle and bustle, working 12 hours on the same thing. It's not like you were working 12 hours a day on learning, physics or something like that. And what I wanted to say earlier, while you're on it as well, is that I think we might be the last generation that believes. You see how every time you tell them, why don't you try to learn something else, the first thing you go to, and you've done it a couple times in the interview, which is why I know it, and it resonates to me. We think of learning something in the in the guise of a school of,
Right.
of academia.
Right.
You know what I mean? So whenever you say you could have said anything. Why you didn't learn photography? Somebody gonna say, "Oh, I didn't go to school for it. I got to go to school. I got to get
Right.
this. It's always I have to go to school." And what happens is when you get about 30 plus, you almost dread thinking about going to school because you think of what time, right? But if you think about it, in essence, you might have wasted time from 19 to 40.
You're for sure wasting time.
But the difference between that is that when you go to school, there's a piece of paper that says you have to be in this bitch for 4 years or more, depending on what you're doing. When it comes to living life on play, you don't know how long you're going to be doing your bullshit for. You just do it. And then when you look back at it, you've actually spent more time doing nothing than you would have going to school and actually learning something from them. But like I said, this is the last generation. That's why he goes to think academia.
This isn't my channel, but in the spirit of free game,
Yeah.
BCH, I would like to say that the goal behind free game is to be that, like, I would like to change your life, subject one.
Yeah.
That's what I do. I've done it for several people. Chris is somebody that I've been working with. Very proud of Chris's A to B. So I think this is. I think there are a lot of people that talk about it, and then there's not a lot of people that actually. Just like you said, you said you have a successful lawyer friend that you can't talk to. Right? I think we need to find a way to make successful people more accessible to more regular people.
That is true.
And that's the goal here.
Yeah, that's true. That's
So-
true. I just had a post of something like that. I just looked at. Boy, you got to give other black people privilege. I need to privilege you, others. So, for instance, this young lady was in first class. The black young girl walks by with her mom and asks her mom why we can't sit up there. And she's like, no, this is first class. So the lady in the first class is sitting there and like, to the stewardess, she's like, hey, can you go get the little girl? If possible, do you mind if I, give her my seat so she can experience the first class at this young age? And then she can go back to her mom and was like, I had the opportunity to be in first class, so privilege each other. It's just one of those things that we have to start doing. And that's one of what you're kind of saying, though. It's just coming around full circle to all of that. But yeah, that is that's something that we do need to work on, though.
That's good.
And
Did
coaching itself.
you have any more follow-up questions? I know we're kind of running this interview pretty long. I know we didn't necessarily intend to be here this long.
Exactly.
But
And that's why
I thought it was a good conversation to have.
This is exactly why I said what I said, because my hope is that at some point Drew would come back and we can have more conversations about moving the needle for you.
Have like a follow-up call
Like
or something like that.
And talk to us outside of this. Like, it doesn't all have to be content. What I would like to do is change subject one's life, and then eventually at some point subject one comes back and is like, hey man, these motherfuckers they actually care.
Eventually, subject one becomes subject two, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and then other. Because I'm going to tell you what it is before we close. Men have a tough time telling other men their problems.
Yes.
Especially when it comes to finance. If you got a problem with your crossover or your jump shot, maybe a layup, something like that, you could tell your homeboy to help you with that. How you're coming in and out of your routes and stuff like that. You can help him with that. Lifting weights, something manly, you know what I'm saying? But when you say, hey, brother, I'm broke and I have no idea how to make money. Who's told you that? I'm sure you know a lot of broke niggas, but the niggas never come to you and say, hey, man, I don't got no money. I need to figure out how to make it. And I'm 35, 40, 45. You gotta understand, I've spoken to men 45 years old and thinking about becoming an exterminator. You get what I'm saying? These people are, so you don't think that anyone out there, don't think that you're the only one who started these things. You know what I'm saying?
In fact, you should think to yourself, maybe I should do like subject one and go talk to the free game guy, because I don't have a homeboy that I could talk to or run an idea by or something like that. Like maybe I should go talk to those guys.
You should.
Great idea.
And see if your idea is absolutely crazy and insane and you shouldn't do it. There's nothing wrong with that. We think of crazy things all the time. We have to find someone to organize those things.
If you have some random problem you're trying to figure out and you don't have useful friends that you can kind of ping stuff off on, come here, you ping stuff off.
Absolutely. If you like content like this, make sure that you subscribe to the channel, Free Game BCH. Also, make sure that you like and comment. Another video is always coming up. Not now, but right now.
Hold up. Worst. 666.